Change really is good. It's really good. But sometimes it's stressful and unpredictable. And that's what happened with my family this last 4 months as we remodeled our kitchen. Do you ever watch those home renovation shows where you get so excited? You're watching like Joanna and Chip Gaines, like in their show Fixer Upper, and you're ready to just like take on the world. You're like, my kitchen is horrible. It's so outdated. I can't get around it. I got too many kids. I've got like cabinets here that don't match the island, and my pantry is overflowing with dried noodles, and you're trying to put them in those little organized containers, like those boxes. You're going to put like a sign on the front that says, linguine, spaghetti. You always intend to get to that, but you only get halfway there. And then one day you wake up and you're like, you know what? We're just going to do it. We're going to do it. And especially now with interest rates through the roof, like over 7%, right? If you buy a new home. Well, my husband and I did buy a new home. We're all about change, right? We decided when he retired, we are going to move to Texas. Yes, we decided Texas was home for us. It was the state that we wanted to live in, that we wanted to be in when we moved from Northern Virginia. And we didn't want to be around the DC area the whole time, wanted to be around some people that we felt were more centered, right, for us. And that we could have barbecues. We were like, okay, what do we want about Texas? We want barbecues. We want friends. We want to have a little bit of land, not too much because my husband's blind. So there's only so much we could do. We want a good neighborhood. We pretty much checked off all those blocks. The only thing about the house that I had a hard time with was the kitchen, because the kitchen is my favorite part of the house. I don't know about you, but everything happens in our kitchen. From my children, telling us about their day in school, to our friends coming over. And even if we're having a drink, we kind of sit around the kitchen. I make hors d'oeuvres, or, we just pull out the chips from the pantry. That's the hors d'oeuvres. I made it sound like I was just like out there baking an hors d'oeuvre, right? Like I'm using my stove and I'm creating these pastries. No, mostly it's like Doritos and chips. We try to do the healthy ones now, the blue chips, and some hummus out of the refrigerator. So we're all like kind of hanging out there. So, but what we realized was like, okay, and I do love to cook, by the way. I really do love to cook. I've just been traveling so much, I haven't had enough time. We realized, wow, the kitchen is just not where we wanted it. And we had purchased this home. We moved to Texas. For the first time, we put a pool in the backyard. It's hot enough there that we can do that. And we just felt like it was the right time for a pool. So this year, my husband and I decided that we were going to renovate the kitchen. This is our second year in Texas. We really want this to be our forever home. We love it. And so we decided, like, let's just do this. And we called on some folks, which was really funny. Like, you just have to do random calls. First, you call your friends, and then they're like, yeah, I know a couple of people, but then those people never kind of work out who might do home renovations. And then we're calling around, and we want to find the right people to renovate our home. And by the way, we did. Amazing. Patriot Construction. I mean, the guy drives around with like a giant American flag on the back of his truck. I got to throw it out there. I love Patriot Construction. They have been amazing. And the guys that work for them are incredible because they've been like living with us for like 3 months. We've been like, housemates. I get up in the morning. Hey, you guys want some coffee? How's it going? They're like in my living room. It's not like, Marty and I, my husband and I and the kids like moved out while they're renovating. No, this has been 3 months. It'll be 4 months when it's hopefully finally done of complete renovation of the kitchen. Right now, I can tell you, we have no cabinets. The only thing we have is a fridge. We've had no stove, the microwave. We went and bought a microwave, and now it's like sitting in our living room on top of a piece of furniture. That's where everybody's microwaving whatever they microwave in there. And so it's barren. And we pushed the living room out a bit. So that also was part of the construction process, and it was wide open. right? So it was wide open for a while, but change is good. It's a struggle, yes. And I know for all of you out there that are either going through the renovation process or who have thought about it or who have already done it, it is a lot to take on, more than I even imagined, right? More than I even imagined, because I was thinking of all of what it would look like afterwards. I was Joanna Gaines. I was like, okay, we're going to put a cabinet here. We're going to put the stove over there. I want a double oven. I want this farm sink. I really want the farm sink. And we changed all the floors in the house to this. I got a ceramic tile flooring that looks like wood. And that was a whole process because they had to rip up all the old ceramic to put this in, right? To make it work, to put this floor in. So there was a time where we were like, we were just covered in dust. We were, the guys at Patriot were amazing though. They did hang up all of the sheets and everything that we needed, the plastic and all of that to try to keep minimal dust. And they've changed out our air filters. And Marty and I decided that instead of hiring an architect, we would just come up with the design ourselves. And my husband's amazing because even though he is 100% blind, his mind can gauge spatial relations and he can see things that I would have never thought of. Like, I know it sounds kind of incredible. It is. He remodeled, let me just say, I'm going to give you some kudos, Marty. I know you're listening. But he remodeled our entire basement in Annapolis, Maryland, when we first got married, after he was blinded. He came home, and when he was rehabbing, he himself came up with the design for our unfinished basement, completely unfinished. And he, along with one other person and then another guy who helped with the tile, pretty much built out the entire basement. He put in a bathroom with a shower. He added a bedroom. He added a theater area. And so it was like both like a combo in the basement of a theater and kind of workout area, a theater area for the kids, a workout area, bedroom, bathroom. And it was stunning. I mean, it really was incredible. And he did it blind. He used tools that were meant for people who want to build that are blind. So they kind of read out loud the distance between spaces. And he cut the wood himself. He even used a jackhammer, right? Crazy, huh? A jackhammer blind. I was like freaking out. I was like so mad. I was so mad at him upstairs. I know I shouldn't have been. I should have trusted. He did a great job. He jackhammered that floor for the piping and everything. And he passed all the inspections. We had it fully inspected. So anybody who writes and say, well, did you guys get it inspected? It was inspected. And it came out perfect. And it was a great form of therapy for him. But this time we're like, okay, we're going to let other people handle this because this is a big project. Big project. And we're waiting on cabinets now. But when I was talking to my producers before we got on the show, and I was thinking about everything in my life right now, everything. I'm actually in Virginia. I'm at Radio America. I'm not home with Marty right now. I've been talking to him all morning off and on, and he's been maneuvering, around all of the different various areas of the house that are new and the project. And it is a little bit frustrating. He was just telling me this morning, I can't wait until this project is over. And I don't know about you, but sometimes when we change things up in life, and this is what me and my producers were discussing, it's like change is tough, but it's necessary. And sometimes, through that struggle, things are so much better. I mean, the end result will be so much better. Sure. Could I have left it the other way? Would everything have been just fine? Yeah, it would have been fine. I mean, it was a workable kitchen. It was fine. There wasn't enough space for us to stand next to each other, though, in between the island and the fridge and the back counter. That was tough. I got to tell you, that was really tough. I was always bumping into something. And for my husband, space is important. And being able to move around is important. And having like definitive markers are important in the house. So he and I thought about this ourselves. We chose to open it up a lot, open up the space. Everything is going to be new. It looks like a completely different house for our friends that have seen it before and then after, it's already starting to look completely different. And one of the things that I do is I live in hill country, and I decided to take out the back wall, which had a big window, and I moved that window into our garage and made that window overlook our pool and back area. We turned the 3-car garage into a 2-car garage and turned the one side into a gym. So we've renovated that. We turned that into like a room that's going to be a gym. And so we can like sit there and work out and then, see the pool. So this is pretty awesome with that giant window. And then what I did was I got these huge sliding glass doors, which I think now, but they're not sliding glass. It's almost like a window wall. And it overlooks all of the back, all of the hill country area. So all the trees, the mesquite trees, the city in the distance, because our house is up on a little bit of a hill. So you can see the lights in the city at night. So it's just like a breath of fresh air, right? It's like a breath of fresh air. I don't want to feel trapped anymore. And I think that's like my thought process and my husband's with the renovation. Sometimes when we were living in DC, you could just feel trapped. You're trapped all the time in politics. You're trapped all the time in the hustle and bustle of the city. You just can't breathe. You're driving around, people are honking at you. You don't move fast enough through a light, they're honking at you. I mean, my gosh, you just look sideways and they're honking at you. And that feeling of being confined, and especially 2 years with COVID, because we moved right after COVID. It was over. We were done. And we were lucky because we got those low interest rates. We moved right at the right time before the Biden economics, the Biden inflation shot up. But it still didn't even feel like enough. I felt like we needed some space in the house. And we did that. And, change is an amazing thing if you let it happen. If and we've done this a lot. We've moved a lot. Hopefully this is our last move. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I love this house. I don't want to move anywhere else. But change allows you to grow as a person. It gives you that opportunity to kind of say, you know what? I can do this. Like whether it's change at the job, right? Whether you're changing jobs and maybe you're stagnant or you're not feeling fulfilled in your job, or, whether that's, finding another place to raise your kids because you're in a neighborhood that you feel is not going to benefit them. I mean, it is really okay to take that kind of leap of faith. And I did that throughout my entire career. I did that, when people would say to me, oh gosh, you're going to Afghanistan. It's so dangerous. It's a war zone. You're going to Mexico. It's so dangerous. It's a war zone. You're going to the border. It could be so dangerous. You're going outside. My gosh, you could get COVID. It could be so dangerous. Everything in life can be dangerous. Everything. Just getting in your car, driving down the highway can be dangerous. But that's life. Taking chances, taking risks. Ultimately, that's what makes us human, is that we know we're taking those risks and we do it anyways. We do it anyways. We are challenging ourselves as a species to be better. We are challenging ourselves as a person to be better, right? To do things. And I'm not talking about Biden's Build Back Better. That's ridiculous. I think they stole that from Melania, by the way. Be better, build back better. I think they were taking her idea and trying to expand on it, and it's just not working for me. But we are trying to innovate, move forward. I mean, just look at Elon Musk, right? Look at everything he's doing. I mean, for crying out loud, I was talking to someone the other night who knows him very well, and they were telling me that, his focus on, space is his primary focus. But look at all the other things he's done. I mean, it's amazing. I can't wait to read Walter Isaacson's book on him, because everything about Elon Musk is an example of, like, even my house, right? Change. It's like taking an idea and saying, you know what? I'm going to be okay with this. Let's go with it. And if it doesn't work, okay, it won't be perfect, but it can't be any worse than it was before, right? Can't be any worse than the complaining we were doing before. We'll just complain about something new. But here you have, people like this that, stand out, like Elon Musk, who all of a sudden buy Twitter and call it X. I mean, because he can do that. But he really focuses on that. And then he focuses on space and saving humanity. I'm just talking about small changes, like changing your kitchen. I'm not trying to, go to space, although I would love to be the first, investigative columnist in space telling that story. Wouldn't that be amazing? But I believe that change is what gives life so much meaning and gusto and makes you want to live. So I guess if there's something I can say to you about maybe all the ups and downs and all the things that change brings, it also brings all the sacrifice, right? And I'm going to talk a little bit about that sacrifice. I'm not going to go into it a lot because I'm not going to be a complainer, but there is a bit of sacrifice that goes with home renovations. Just like there are multitude of sacrifices that go with any change in your life. And I think change is important. I think it's necessary. I think it should be welcomed. And I think some change, even though it could be horrific, it could be shocking, it could rip you apart inside and tear at your heart, like the loss of a loved one. I've been through that before, not the loss of a child, but the loss of people that I love. You find a way to survive and get through it. That's what makes us so amazing and so unique, that we know what is happening, yet we choose to move forward. And I want to talk about that in 1 minute. But first, gold and silver, folks. Gold and silver allow you to protect what you've worked so hard for, and it gives you back the control and privacy that you need. And because reputation is very important to me, the only company I recommend is Allegiance Gold. Yes, diversify, and protect your assets. Get $5,000 right now of free silver on a qualifying purchase when you tell them that Sara sent you. Allegiance Gold has the highest ratings in the industry. By far, the highest ratings in the industry. That's why I love them so much. 5 stars with TrustLink. They are AAA rated with the Business Consumer Alliance, and they have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Get up to $5,000 in free silver on a qualifying purchase when you visit protectwithsara, that's SARA.com today, or give them a call at 877-702-7272. That's 877-702-SARA. Don't wait. Take control of your retirement today. Call 877-702-7272 and speak with one of their experts. They'll answer all your questions and help you get started on a path to more secure and prosperous retirement. Time is of the essence. Protect your future with Allegiance Gold. Visit protectwithsara.com or call 1-877-702-7272. That's 877-702-SARA, S-A-R-A. So really quickly, demolition, not easy on a blind guy, right? Not easy. You got demolition, you got stuff everywhere, you have ladders and poles and things out of place. I mean, it's been tough, right? But that's true of anything in life, anything that you value, that you have to put effort into. It requires sacrifice. It requires that we, accept those changes or make those sacrifices in order to achieve something in the end. Whether that's school, whether that is getting a higher education, whether that's raising children, whether it's training a puppy, which maybe one day I will talk about soon, because little Astro is driving me insane. He eats everything in the house, but I love him. And I believe that with enough training, he's going to get better. In fact, I know he will get better. I know he will get better. It was interesting. I was talking to some friends at lunch here while I've been in DC, and they're very good friends of mine. And I remember they were telling me that they're going to church now every morning, that they attend mass every morning, and it centers them. It gives them like peace. It gives them a center that they can move forward with in the day. And I said, oh, you know what? I've been thinking about doing that. And my friend looked at me and they said, you know what? Don't just think about it, Sara. Just do it. Just do it. Say, I'm going to do it. Not, I've been thinking about it. I plan on it. I might do it. Just do it. Saying that you might do something, it just delays it. It gives you an out, an excuse. Because I think sometimes we really are afraid of change. Like, I don't know, maybe something something even simple, like I'm going to bake a cake, or I'm going to work on my car, or, what if I just do it? I don't talk about it. I just do it, right? Even with faith, like going to church, finding a moment to center yourself, or just praying at home, just saying the first hour of my day, I'm going to take an hour. I'm going to take 30 minutes. I'm going to take 20 minutes. And I am just going to pray. I am just going to focus on what the day ahead means, on what I need to do to be better with my family, with my relationship with God, whatever that is. Just taking a moment of silence for yourself and shutting out the rest of the craziness in the world. Raising children, right? It's not easy. Look at how insane the world is today. It's so upside down. Kids are being told that they can be male or female. They are hearing all kinds of weird mixed messages from crazy woke teachers or television, whatever that is. Our children, even if you think you're protecting them, and you are, from all of this, it's not enough. It's not enough because the world is loud. It's loud. So we need to say, how do we tackle that head on? Not ignore it, tackle it head on, and teach our kids to be strong, amazing children that grow up to be strong, amazing, caring adults, right? Change. Building a business. I have had my business now. I remember when I first started, I'm like, I don't know anything about business. All of a sudden, I was in business for myself. I'm a contractor. I write, I travel. Building a business, that's important. But that requires faith. It's like a leap of faith. It's you're looking for change. You're jumping into it. You might not be looking for it, but you're jumping into it. And you're deciding for yourself, like, how am I going to handle this change? How am I going to make this work for me and my family? And that is also true with our nation. And I've given a number of speeches this past week. I'm walking with the families, Lost Voices of Fentanyl tomorrow. I think that's going to be really tough. Parents who've lost their children to this horrific attack on our nation by the drug cartels, and yes, China as a proxy war on us. I absolutely believe that. And we are in the midst of very difficult times in this nation. They will only be more difficult if we don't face these challenges head on and accept that things are changing, but that we can fight to regain some semblance of decency and control back, that each one of our voices matter, and that it is okay to speak out and to protect what is so amazing, which is, wow, our freedom and our liberty. Can't ask for anything more than that right now. Don't be afraid of change. It's always coming. It's always happening. Center yourself in your faith. Center yourself in your family. Center yourself with God, and you'll be okay. You know, if you're Christian, you'll understand this. If anybody else out there, I know there are people who listen to me that go to synagogue, they're Jewish, Muslims, where you center yourself with God, right? But Christ had a great message. Christ had a great message. With the faith of a mustard seed, you can move a mountain. Folks, we can move mountains. Not all is lost. We just have to have faith. We just have to believe, and we have to make it happen. God has given us that I am sure of. Thank you so much for listening to the Sara Carter Show. Guys, follow me on Truth at Sara Carter Official, on X at Sara Carter DC, and on Instagram at S Carter DC. And let me know if you have any changes going on in your life, any home renovation stories, any horror stories or success stories. I would love to hear them. You can reach me on X. You can reach me by email. You can reach me on Instagram. I promise you, I read all of it. And remember, guys, give me 5 stars. 5 stars. Download the podcast. I even read those reviews. Thank you again for being a part of my life. Thank you again for being a part of this show and a part of my family, my podcast family. Believe me, I appreciate it.